Hey folks, let's chat about For Honor for a bit. We're going to talk about Skirmish and how competitive play may be in a bit of jeopardy For Honor, at least for right now. So For Honor has been has been out for about 2 weeks now. For those playing the game, there seems to be a shared distaste for a certain play mode, and that play mode is Skirmish. For those who don't know, there are a few play modes in For Honor. There's Skirmish, Elimination, and Dominion. Those are your 4v4 games. Then there are duels and brawls. Those are your 2v2s, 1v1s. Skirmish probably has the majority of players disliking it. Now, why do they dislike Skirmish mode? Well, Skirmish mode pits you against your enemies, and basically you have to kill each other until you have 1,000 tickets. Or 1,000 points that are up in the top right corner. Each kill is like 10 points or something. Skirmish mode borrows elements from Dominion, which is another play mode that I just said. Dominion is a chaotic battlefield where you need to kill your enemies and capture points to bolster your tickets to 1,000. For each point you hold, you get points that build until you have 1,000. Once you reach 1,000, your foes have to kill you guys and capture a point so they're not in like elimination mode where they die and stay dead. Skirmish does away with the capture points. It's mostly about killing your opponents. That's really the only way to get max points. And of course, for elimination, it's about killing your opponents, but you start out fighting 1v1, and then once you die once, you stay dead. In here, you start out as like a group of 4, and if someone separates, you're most likely going to get ganked, and then you die terribly, and then everyone just starts to trickle, and then the snowball really gets going when everyone starts unlocking feats. And people get hit with arrows, and there's triple and quadruple teams and all these other tactics that go on in Skirmish mode. That can happen in another play mode, but this mode kind of forces this mode of thinking to happen. The usual complaints are this mode tends to be too long because 1,000 tickets takes a while. Maybe 500 would be better, so it's less frustrating. Most matches I've played, the team gets down. First thing they do is leave, so your 4v4 against humans turns into like 4v1 with 3 bots or something. Or the people stay and then they talk in chat about how this game mode is bullshit and they hate it and they queued up for elimination, but they were forced to play Skirmish. So, like most players, I tend to avoid Skirmish unless I'm like forced to play it as an order, and then I usually just play bots because that's the only orders that I usually do. Well, for Skirmish mode, I usually play the bot Skirmish mode. So that's Skirmish in a nutshell. It's just it takes away the capture element of Dominion, but it keeps the score instead. So it drags on, and then it's just frustrating when it's like just nothing but ganks the entire time. Moving on, we talk about competitive play. It's kind of in jeopardy, at least in my mind. First of all, there is no competitive play at launch, or to speak of in the game. I'm speaking because competitive play mode would be really hard to balance here. The game itself positions around gear and gear stats. For each time you play a level, you play a game or a match, you scavenge for gear, and that gear can make your character better. You can upgrade the gear, you can scavenge for more gear, and it makes your character better overall statistically, makes them stronger and all these things. In some cases, gear can really change just how many strikes it takes to kill an opponent because your defense and your injuries and your revenge mode and things all kick into play there. For those at a lower level who get matched against those who have prestiged, it can be really annoying to see that their level number is blue, purple, or yellow. At least their gear level. And then they can two-shot you in revenge mode, or they get revenge mode extremely quickly. Now, that's not saying everyone with like high gear is really good at the game, because you can grind against computers and get gear that way, and and you've never played against players, so you can still be kind of terrible and just have high gear. Of course, that can happen. But it's just for other game modes, they don't focus on the stats, because like my mind automatically goes to Overwatch. There's no stats to go there in the game itself. They have the characters and they have their things. Same thing for, well, Rainbow Six Siege has little stats, but then those are just for the guns and just how strong they are, and they nerf those regularly. If they were to actually start nerfing gear itself, like, I don't know, every season or something, the gear would be replaced by like higher gear, then it would feel like there was like a barrier to hit every time. And like your gear that you get now that you worked on gets crappier. I don't know if they really want to go that way with it, because then it just feels like, what am I doing leveling up? Well, then it just keeps you playing, because then you always have to have max gear if you truly want to like kick ass. And that's taking away the human part of the game, of course, because you can still have low gear and kick someone's ass. You could still be really good. It has nothing to do with the gear there, but higher gear usually makes it a little easier to fight, because a highly prestige person, if you're trying to kill them and 2 hits in, they have revenge mode. Then your fighting style changes completely. You're not as aggressive, because once revenge pops, then they're going to 2-shot you or something. You don't want that happening. So that's why I feel competitive mode is going to be in Jeopardy, because they'd have to find a way to balance the gear itself, or just make competitive into duels only, or take gear totally out of it, but then that would be counterproductive, because gear is allowed in all game modes but duels. So there's a strange balancing act that has to go down here. For my last point, this is really just a tip for those who are just starting the game in For Honor. I like the game itself. I think it's worth the price tag. It's, for people going into it doesn't have story mode. Well, that's not what you're playing for. And of course, some people would be like, "Oh, it's like a $40 game." I can see it. It's really fun and addicting to all these things, but for those who are just starting the game, the tip is save your steel. In the game, you're able to scavenge and buy gear using your money to like find better gear for your character. Wait until you prestige a character. After you prestige a character, you have a higher chance of getting the rare gear, and you will. And then it makes your character better, and the rare gear has like a universal different stat compared to like the crappy gear you get in the early levels. The stat boost they get is huge. And there's also the thing, though, if you prestige one character, it does not unlock rare gear for all characters. It's just the one character. So you have to prestige everyone if you want everyone to get rare gear. But if you just focus on the one character and get them to higher prestige, you'll get higher gear, and that character will get stronger. So that is the one point I would like to have everybody know. Food for thought. So I'll see you guys next time on the next For Honor video, or whatever I have coming. See you soon.